Hey folks, this is Mr. MegaManFan. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. You know all the things to do. Now, I'm excited about this rather large package because of the fact this is something that was being worked on by my friend Jason, and he took a mod kit from MakeMHZ, which I will link to in the description, and put it into a console that he sold me for basically the price of parts because he wanted to learn how to perform this mod for future customers himself. So in essence, I was his trial customer, and it only cost me shipping to get it here and the parts to make it necessary. But what are we talking about? Well, you might be able to guess looking at the size and perhaps guessing the weight of this thing that it's an OG Xbox. So I'm gonna have to get this bubble wrap off of it so we can take a better look at it, although I definitely appreciate that he used bubble wrap to seal it up and make sure that it got to me undamaged, because you never know with the postal system what they're gonna do when things are in transit. But fortunately, it didn't have to travel a long distance to get to me, because he lives in Iowa and I live in Nebraska, so I felt reasonably safe trusting the postal system with that. And hopefully you can see here, we have an HDMI port on the back, which the original OG Xbox never had. So there is a MakeMHZ mod kit for doing direct digital HDMI, no converter, no upscaling, true HDMI out of the original Xbox. So at this point I'd say there's nothing else left to do but plug it in, try it out, see how it looks, and I'm gonna do that. So what I have here is a box full of Xbox games that I have recently picked up, I'd say within the last year or even the last few months, depending. It only runs through N because I have another box for N to Z, so it's not the full set, but I think we've got enough here to work with, so I'm gonna power this on and see what happens. Yeah. Safe mode activated. The default setting for Stella OS. Okay, I assume that's part of the custom operating system that makes HDMI out work. But there it is. It's in HDMI. No scaler. Just HDMI to HDMI. Let me put this in a tripod and we can try a game. I can already tell everybody just from sitting here with it turned on that this looks a lot cleaner of an output than the previous upscale device that I had, which was serving me well enough at the time, but I would also notice purple bars on the screen over time when I was playing certain games that had a lot of black screens in them. And I'm gonna start with Dead or Alive Ultimate because people usually complain if I show off just 2D games and platformers, so I want something with a little bit of 3D in it, and hopefully that has enough black backgrounds that if there were any purple bars that were going to show up, I'd see them right away. And I will switch to a classic game compilation after this. So this just gets us started looking at this MakeMHZ mod, which I guess I should have realized since it was a custom board and it cost over $150 that it was also going to have a custom operating system, but somehow I didn't account for that. I don't really want to change any of these settings. I'm just gonna exit, save settings, yes. Oh, and it'll reboot itself. Okay, I guess that was to be expected. But now it should hopefully just boot right into the game, since I already loaded a game in there. Let me grab the remote because it might be kind of loud. Might want to turn it down a little. Tecmo presents. Yeah, I think we've got enough black backgrounds here that if I was going to notice purple bars, I would notice them. Skip some of these cutscenes. Get straight into a fight. I'm promising I'll be good at this. Also, the volume is still too loud. I need to turn that down a little bit more. Well, I did a throw. That's a good start. The AI on the computer opponent's probably pretty weak anyway, so... yeah, I obviously won't have a problem with the opening round opponent. Later ones, I might have to learn some combos and some blocking, but it seems like I can kind of just fake my way through this opening round match. It's not really presenting much of a threat to me. Yeah, sorry, Zach. Maybe if you were being controlled by another human opponent, you would have done better. Well, when you spend the kind of money you did for this mod, you would expect it to not look like crap, right? If it did, you'd be wondering what you spent your money on. But still, I'm just so happy looking at this. Like, even before, when I was upscaling out of my OG Xbox, this would look blurry. I don't think it looks blurry now. Not at all. This is a true direct video signal. Did I grab Medal of Honor? I meant to grab Midway Arcade Treasures. Now I've got the right one, baby. Uh-huh. Okay, Midway. Let's see if we get any black bars with this. Oh, and of course, Jason did pull the B cap for me, so I don't have to worry about leaks. Which is good, because in my original Xbox, it did leak, and my friend Phil had to repair some of the traces in it, so nice to know that Jason took care of that. Incidentally, Jason doesn't have a huge presence online. He doesn't have a website I can point you to, but I did tell him I would mention him in this video, so if you want to find him, I would say the easiest way would be to join Phil McPhee's Facebook group, Fix It Phil, FIX-IT space PHIL. Join the Fix It Phil group if you want to ask Jason if he can do this service. Now, again, this was his first time doing it, so I basically got it at a huge discount. I can't promise you what you would pay for it, but I know it would cost you at least $170 for the MakeMHZ board, or MHZ if you're in the United Kingdom. But what I'm saying is, it's going to be an investment, and if you don't supply your own Xbox and he has to supply one, that's obviously got to be factored in. Shipping and handling is not going to be cheap for something this size. You've got some things to think about if you really want to do this. For me, having the substantial Xbox library that I have, I decided it was worth it. Now, this is going to be my true, is there a problem test, because I would get purple bars on games like this and Dr. Mudo, you know, just they'd show up anytime there was a transition from one screen to the next. There'd be purple horizontal bars in the background when it was upscaled. So if I see any here, I'll know what's up. I'm not going to kill the computer opponent. You can get points for doing that, but he's actually being helpful, so I'll just let him be. Unless he walks directly in my path, and then I'll have to take matters into my own hands after that. Let's do Gauntlet. And then I'll try something other than this compilation to really put the nail in the coffin on this. We never had the option to do that back in the day in the arcade. If he dies, he dies. Get out of my way, you barbarians. Okay. I'm feeling pretty stoked about this, but let's be 100% certain. But mine has a whole bunch of rental crap all over it, which actually to me kind of makes it more cool. I like having a game that has some history to it. There's even a Blockbuster rental sticker on the disc itself. Make sure the brightness level is set appropriately. I did this once before, but it was on my other Xbox, so there's no save file. At least you can quickly spin around with the trigger buttons. Skip that cutscene too. Yeah, I'm not seeing purple bars, and I expected to on anything other than this mod. It just... whatever it was doing to scale it up was just causing issues, or the Xbox I was using was causing issues. So one or the other, but this is clean. Clean and gorgeous, and I love it. And Jason, you did a fantastic job. So I can recommend the MakeMHZ mod. I can also say Jason would be the guy to put it in, but keep in mind, like I said before, this is a $170 mod board that goes into an original Xbox, so you've got to have an Xbox, and then you've got to be willing to spend a chunk of change on top of that. And if it's not that important to you, and maybe it's not, then play an emulation or use an upscaler or something other than this. But if you want dedicated HDMI out, this is super, super clean.